January the 12th, 2022. Guys, you're looking at a winter storm warning map from AccuWeather. It says Sunday through Monday. Widespread travel disruption, strong winds along the coast, rapid freeze up to follow. And in the blue, you've got mostly snow. In the pink, it's a mixture of snow, ice, and rain. You can see in this map, it comes down through northern Mississippi, down into north central Alabama, through the north half of Georgia, including Atlanta. Notice it's not getting right along the coast until it gets up around Roanoke. But South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Washington to D.C., New York, Boston, through Portland. You can see this. Sunday, it's going to be down in southeast. By Monday, you're looking at this low pressure, and that's what the red dots are, setting off the New York coast, and right over Long Island, as a matter of fact. Now, they're predicting that this thing could drop pressure so rapidly that it would be our second bombogenesis of the year. And this thing's going to break 30-year records as far as low temperatures. It could break some snow and ice records too. Last year, with this thing, it dove further south all the way to the coast in Texas, if you guys remember that. But again, we're going to break 30-year records in temperatures. And I don't know what kind of records we'll be dealing with as far as snow, but there's going to be a lot in a lot of areas. Now, what we're dealing with is what's called grand solar minimum. Many of you have heard me talk about it for years. But we are now entering in the upswing into solar cycle 25. But guys, even though it's 11.8 years through a solar cycle, from the low up to the high, that's a little over 5 years, and then it drops back down. Just like a sine wave, you have these cycles. 11.8 years matches the orbit of Jupiter around our sun. I think they're extremely related for several reasons. Anyway, even though we're rising up into solar cycle 25, our overall cycles over the last several cycles are decreasing each time. So you're going to have rises inside the cycle, but the waveform is going to get smaller and smaller until you get into grand solar minimum. That's what we're seeing. We had a warm winter in a lot of places, or a warm start to winter, but now we're starting to see the effects. This is an unusual storm. A lot of times they call them Alberta Clippers because of where they originate. This one is called a Saskatchewan Screamer because of where it's originating from. Let me read some of this. AccuWeather is saying that enough cold air is likely to be in place for an all or mostly snow event from near and west of Interstate 81 corridor in the northeast states, while near and south and east of I-95 rain is likely to be the primary form of precipitation. They're saying that adding that in between, there will be snow, ice, and rain in portions of the central Appalachians during the height of the storm, and at the onset of the storm close to the Atlantic coast. Snow may fall at a furious pace between 1 and 3 inches per hour. A snowfall rate of this intensity can quickly bury roads and overwhelm road crews, especially along roadways that experience a heavy volume of traffic. AccuWeather Chief Meteorologist John Porter has expressed his concern for the snow that will impact the Northeast. Now, it looks like a very strong storm system will unleash very significant snow across the interior parts of the Northeast, especially from the Appalachians up into the high ground of New York State and into northern New England. In some locations, the snow can be measured in feet. And this is, notice, Sunday through Monday night, guys. A storm max is looking at a total of 40 inches. You've got 12 to 8 inches in the dark blue area, 12 to 18 inches in the dark blue areas that you see here. A little lighter blue, 6 to 12 inches. The next shade of blue, 3 to 6, and 1 to 3. That's coming down from through Nashville, Tennessee, clipping up near Huntsville, Alabama, into northern Atlanta. And you can see the map. Looks like a lot of this area is going to get some heavy snow. And when you're looking up into the Smoky Mountains and the Appalachians, where the higher accumulations will be. More than likely, roads like one of my favorite, which goes up to Klingman's Dome, just north of Cherokee, North Carolina, they'll close that gate off. May close the whole road between Cherokee and Gatlinburg there, going over the mountains, if it gets strong enough. So if you're traveling, be aware of this. Don't get caught up in the mountains in the snow. Change your channel a minute and get the weather. Snow is likely to fall throughout the duration of the storm in parts of the Appalachians, and a foot or more snow could pile up with an AccuWeather local storm max of 40 inches. Conditions will deteriorate quickly in all the snow zones, as increasing winds will lead to significant blowing and drifting of snow. Even in some areas where rain is likely to take over at the height of the storm, along I-95, in the mid-Atlantic and part of New England, a few inches of snow can fall beforehand. The speed of the change to rain, or even a wintry mix, including ice, will determine snow accumulations. Whenever we're dealing with a big snow and ice storm, there's going to be a significant travel problem on the roads and also at airports. Guys, do not contribute to that problem. Stay home and be safe. Now, you've got zones marked out here, and it's going in time. In other words, the snow spread Sunday through Monday night, snow arrival time shown at all times local. 7 a.m. Sunday morning, guys, check this out. It's between Nashville, Charlotte, down through this area, and you can see the line, 7 p.m. Sunday that afternoon. It's already up into D.C. and Pittsburgh. The next day, or the next 12 hours going into Monday morning, New York, Syracuse, Toronto, 7 p.m. Monday evening, north of Syracuse into Montreal. This is going to be moving up from that point through into Tuesday, going further northeast. Now, they're noting that a storm shift in the track as little as 50 miles will affect the outcome. Should the storm manage to drift 50 miles or so off the coast while heading northward, I-95 cities from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston could be buried in snow with little or no rain and ice mixing in. Deeger said in that case a true nor'easter would unfold, and even blizzard conditions might develop along the I-95 corridor. If the storm takes a path further to the west, right along or even west of I-95, the heaviest snow will instead fall along the western slopes of the Appalachians to the portions of the Ohio Valley and part of the Great Lakes region. A rainstorm would unfold along the I-95 corridor. In between, a wintry mix would create slippery travel along the I-81 corridor, according to Deeger. In that scenario, the worst of the storm would avoid the major travel hubs up and down the eastern seaboard, but some delays would still be possible. So the further to the west the storm stays, the better for some of the major cities. Now, you got to pay attention Saturday and Saturday night. But this is what it's saying. Ice and freezing rain could also be a significant issue from northern Georgia through Virginia as the winter storm lifts northward Saturday night through Sunday night. Travel could become treacherous on major highways across the region, including those around Charlotte, Raleigh, Greenville and Columbia, South Carolina, and Atlanta. Ice accumulation could also lead to widespread power outages. Guys, and the price of natural gas is going up because it's getting that time of year when, and with some of the changes in the last year or so, some of those things are getting harder to find and really going up in price. Again, the widespread power outages, including part of Virginia that experienced outages for days following an early year snowstorm that buried the state and stranded motors on roads. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Now, guys, are you thinking about not getting out? Do you have some extra food for the weekend to get you through that? I hope you have that and a whole lot more, to be honest with you. But just think about, you got icy roads, jammed roads, power outages. You're not going to be able to get food and gas, okay? Your ATM, the cash registers aren't going to work, just like in a hurricane. It says as the storm moves northeastward along the east Atlantic coast, other hazards are likely to unfold. Increasing winds from the strengthening system will lead to a period of coastal flooding and beach erosion, guys. you're getting hit from the left and right. On the southeastern edge of the storm, thunderstorms may become strong enough to bring the risk of severe weather. They're talking about tornadoes. That could occur from Florida to the coastal Carolinas and perhaps Long Island, New York, and eastern New England. The storm has the potential to strand travelers on the highways and at airports as people move about for the long weekend. Guys, also, there's a shortage of people in all the industries. It's a good time not to travel. Think about it. Don't put yourself and your family at risk. Major disruptions to travel, shipping, supply chain, and testing are anticipated due to the areas of rapid snow accumulation, icy conditions, and even flooding rain. We're dealing with so many shortages of products. Now, this is AccuWeather. We talked about this last night in the video. We're already dealing with so many shortages of products at some supermarkets that we're going to be concerned about supermarkets being able to keep the products that consumers need across many parts of the affected areas. This is key, guys. If you're waiting to get the food, at least to have the minimum, for a week or so, depending on how severe the ice storm is and what kind of damage that does to your power lines. You're going to have tree limbs falling on them, transformers popping, and ice accumulating and dropping lines. And remember, they're talking about a nor'easter, guys, that would produce coastal flooding, right? Some meteorologists are predicting this thing to drop in barometric pressure quicker than that and become a bombogenesis, much stronger than a nor'easter. There's going to be a lot of effects here. And they're hoping the storm stays more to the left or more to the west here, to the west of the Appalachians and I-95. But the closer to the coast, the stronger the coastal flooding, coastal winds, and precipitation coming in there. But again, could be a bombogenesis. It's a heads up. Be safe.